is there any way you could bring up that "no weapon formed against me" part of that song, please? Okay. So it's awesome that they played that song, because all day I've been thinking about my story and everything, and a lot of people know my story, but God started showing me it was all about the mindset. And we're listening to this song, and then they're saying that ain't no devil gonna tread on me. And I believe the change in our lives when we come from all that bad stuff is when we truly believe that's possible. And then we start speaking it and we believe it. Devil, get up out of my life. I'm tired of you being here. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get you out of my life. And right here, it says that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Don't tread on me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And that has to be in our hearts, and we have to believe it, because that's where the transformation of lives start. And I start thinking about my life and the curse that's in this land. I came from a small community in Bucyrus, about 11,000 people, and everybody knows everybody, and everybody on drugs knows everybody on drugs. And if you're on drugs, you know where to get the drugs. And I just remember growing up, it started at a young age, like 14, 15 years old. We would go into the old Neffs where the True Value is there on South Sandusky Avenue, and we'd steal Mad Dog 2020. Then we'd go out to the train tracks and drink Mad Dog 2020 till we're throwing up. Yeah, it was me. And then that it just kept on going, man. It went from Mad Dog 2020 to stealing our parents' beer, and then stealing our parents' wacky tobacco. And, it just escalated into a lifestyle. And then the next thing you know, I'm 38 years old looking in the mirror, and it ain't so fun anymore. And I definitely didn't like what I saw. So I just got to the point, where those words really weren't in my heart, because I didn't know that no weapon formed against me will be able to harm me when I surrender my life to Jesus. I just knew that I had traveled down the road, and it wasn't fun no more, and my heart hurt. And everything that I seen around me was dark and gloomy. So that wonderful ride that I was on, it bottomed out. And I hit rock bottom, and nothing was pleasant. There was no love in my heart. I had burnt every bridge in my entire life. But when I came to that moment where I was just inside of my heart, I didn't know it yet, but I was screaming, "No more, devil, you ain't treading on me no more." So when it came to the point where God said, okay, I'm going to start showing him my grace. I'm going to start putting people in his life. As long as he's serious and he's willing to walk this thing out, I'm going to make doors open for his life. I'm going to put people in his life that will love him and teach him and show him how to walk, that he can walk in a different way. And, it started right away. One night I cried out. I was hopeless. I'd done spent my last monies that I had on drugs. And it was 3 a.m. and I had nowhere to go. And that first cry opened up a whole bunch of doors. And here I am today. And you guys know my story. I came from drug addiction to here. And I don't want to glorify no more of that stuff, but I want to talk about the journey after I was like, okay, Lord, I believe in you. I believe what you say about no weapon formed against me. But my mindset had to change. Because when you're on drugs and you're living hopelessly, it just gets in your heart like, man, there's no hope for me. There's nothing ever going to get better in my life. But Jesus has showed me that's a lie straight from the pit of hell. And the first things he had to do was change that mindset that I had. When a problem come up before, I'm like, it's just another problem. But see, now he's gotten in my mind where he can show me how to solve problems. Or he'll give me some humility where I will go ask for help to solve those problems. But God's been really good to me. You guys know, after 8 years of being clean and sober, I'm married, and I have a job that's pretty good, and I'm hoping to get a better job. And God's just been really good to me. And the most important thing that God's given me is all you guys and his Holy Spirit and the way he's just changed my life, and he just wants to do just more things. And my heart just goes out to people that feel hopeless, because I want to be used to change their mindset. Because when you see someone delivered from that mindset, it will encourage other people to be like, wow, if God can change a Durf, he can change anybody. And, I've been going through a lot of stuff, like at work and stuff. And, the first couple years of being saved was the hardest, because your mind always wants to wander back the way you think you're always going to receive the same results that you had when you were in your mess. When something comes at you, when your transmission breaks down in your truck or stuff like that, you're like, well, time to give up. There's no hope for me now. But God's been showing me, he's been grooming me like, dude, I've been here. Sorry for dude, but God's been with me this whole journey. And even though I'm smiling and I'm happy, sometimes all those doubts in my head and my heart will just fester, and God will show me, and he showed me every single time. I've had bad things happen, and God's always been there. And I believe that's the most important thing that we need to do, is get that mindset change. And there's two things that's been hindering me as a Christian, and I've been growing through them. One is my anger and my forgiveness. I think that blends together, because the more I can freely forgive people and not judge people and understand that what God did for me, he didn't judge me. And I was to the point where people probably thought, why would God save him? And I bet you I was thinking the same thing. Why would God save me? After everything I did, he still saved me. So who am I to judge someone else because their mistakes and their failures? And God's had to work on me like that, real big time. My insecurities, I'll rise that up at work, and I won't let go of things, and I'll hold things against people, and I'll let it fester for like 2 weeks. It'll make me miserable. And then God will show me, like, he won't hammer me and body slam me with it, but he'll just show me, see, you were just like that person, but I delivered you. I saved you. I gave mercy to you, but you can't give mercy to that other person. So I think for me to continue walking, and if I could express anything to anybody, the first thing is my mindset. I need to realize that God's going to provide for me no matter what. There's an abundance out there, and it is available to me if I will accept God. Sometimes all of us have, I believe, I won't say all of us because I can't speak for you guys, but I've rejected God's ways. As a Christian, no, God, I'll do it my way. I hear what you're saying, and sometimes I'll hear it plain as day, but I'll do it my way anyways because I'm stubborn or bullheaded. But God's always cleaned up my mess. He's fixed it, and he's always done good. So I think the most important thing I need to focus on is my mindset, and know that I always say that I don't have to live like that anymore. And I need to always make sure that I'm having the same patience, forgiveness, and love for others as God has for me. Because I've done a lot of bad things. I've stole from people. I've beat up people. I've said vicious things. My mouth used to be so bad. Like, I could verbally hurt you more than I could hurt you with my physical body. And I believe I grew up in a household like that. I remember my mom having a twisted nose all the time, and my parents were divorced at 6 years old. I don't have a great memory, but I believe the curse that's in this land just has a way to get inside of us and dwell in there until we get Jesus to get that stuff up out of there. So I believe that's affected my life big time, and I'm really grown on that. Now God's going to use my mouth to help people, and I think that's totally amazing. I'm so grateful to be here, and I believe that when we get saved, Satan's going to try to come at us every single day, and we need to not get a big head, and we need to know that he's still God, and that, when I took that Kaneo class from the North Georgia Revival, one thing that really stood out for me, they kept teaching about Israel and the rituals and the religious things that they did. And they really cared so much about washing their hands. You know, they were worried about what they looked like on the outside. And they didn't really understand or focus nothing on the inside, because I don't believe they knew who Jesus was. They missed it completely. And you know what? I know God doesn't want us stinking and all filthy and dirty on the outside. But I've learned it has to start on the inside. It has to start in here first. That's what got a hold of me, was just the love that I felt from people. Because living in a world where everything's dark and you don't believe that there's no good in this world and everybody's out to get you and out to hustle you, when people start loving on you, it does something inside your heart. And then when your heart starts feeling that love, then it starts doing something in your mind. Because your mind never trusts. Your mind always worries, and your mind always doubts. But when that starts receiving the love that's coming down through here, through God, through people, then the whole thing just starts changing, and it's just been amazing. I thank you guys for letting me share my testimony, and I got 42 seconds left, and I have a beautiful wife, and I have a beautiful little girl, and God made it so I could adopt her, and just things are so good. And I'm just excited about it. God's so good. And it ain't over yet. So I'm just excited to see what he's going to do in the future. And my time's up.